Okay. The regular meeting of the Planning Commission is called to order at 7:04 p.m. Pacific Time. We will now take a moment for silent prayer or mediation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Acting City Attorney Rosemary.
Please place your hand over your heart, face the flag, and follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Joanne, can you do roll call?
Commissioner Lewis?
Here.
Vice Chair Williams? Present. Commissioner Becerra? Here. Commissioner Hang?
Here.
Chair Gutierrez?
Here.
Let the record show all 5 commissioners are present.
Okay. Tonight we have minutes from the regular meeting on January 23rd, 2024. Does anyone have any changes to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, the minutes are adopted as submitted. We'll now move on to oral communications. And we'll first go to items that are not on the agenda. And we have one speaker, and that will be Solima Flores, if I'm saying it right. Go ahead, come on.
I'm doing an interview for school. I have a question regarding what does the planning commission do? Like, how would you explain it to someone that doesn't know what you guys do, and we don't know about it?
Okay, so usually it's not an interactive process, but what I'm going to do is have our planning manager, Joanne, write down your questions. And after the meeting, if you could stay, then she's going to get back to you. If not, then give her your email, and she'll make sure she answers each of those questions.
Okay.
But go ahead, tell us your questions you have.
The first one, and then what advice do you have for someone that has never been to any city council meetings? And what expectations should someone like me that hasn't been, this is my first time coming here, should have? Those are the questions, yeah.
Great, thank you so much. And Joanne, did you get all those?
Yes.
Perfect. So that's Joanne's card, and so give her a call tomorrow if you can't stay late, and she'll make sure to get you all those answers. And thank you for doing the interview on the Planning Commission. It's a very interactive process. Okay, we are now... And then now we'll move on to the consent calendar. And we have one item. We have one item on the consent calendar, which is a resolution from the Planning Commission forwarding conditional use permit number 22-09, the sales of beer and wine for off-site consumption within a service station accessory convenience store located at 1209 East Sunset Avenue for the City Council to review and consideration. And I would like to say, after the last Planning Commission meeting, I had the chance to visit the site and spend time observing the business operations at this location. I no longer have any security or safety concerns after being able to see firsthand the location. The required CCTV system and knowing that there's going to be flock safety cameras that will be directly linked to our police department will help our West Greenland police officers obviously catch people who are breaking the law and committing major crimes. So I'm asking the Planning Commission to reconsider the CUP when any of the Planning commissioners who voted to forward this CUP to the City Council like to make a motion for reconsideration.
I would make a motion for reconsideration.
Okay. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second it. And so, Joanne, can you do a roll call on the motion?
Commissioner Lewis,
Aye.
Commissioner Heng,
Aye.
Vice Chair Williams,
No.
Commissioner Becerra,
Aye.
Chair Gutierrez,
Aye.
4-1. Motion passes. The Planning Commission will reconsider the item.
Okay. We'll now move on to the public hearing. And so based upon that motion, the first item is the condition, based upon that motion, the first item will be that. So it'll be the conditional use permit number 23-09, categorical exemption by applicant Valeria Salampansi, located at 1209 South Sunset Avenue in West Covina. The request is a conditional use permit, CUP, to allow for the off-site sale of beer and wine, a Type 20 ABC license within an existing 2,482 square foot convenience store at a service station known as Chevron Extra Mile, located in the neighborhood commercial and as a Nancy C as in Charlie zone. Joanne, who will be presenting the staff report?
Associate Planner Maria Machado will be presenting the staff report.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. As you just mentioned, this is Conditional Use Permit 2309. The item is being presented as it was just motioned to be reconsidered. The project was last presented on the Planning Commission meeting on January 23rd, 2024. The conditional use permit being requested is to allow for the off-sale of beer and wine within the existing convenience store. Here we have a photo of the existing convenience store, Extra Mile. A site plan for reference of where the convenience store is located. And just to recap, the location of the beer and wine would be 3 reach-in coolers and a bulk beer sale area display. Here are some reference photos. The overall operation is a service station with that accessory convenience store and an accessory car wash. There are 10 employees, 7 full-time and 3 part-time, and they are open 24 hours, 7 days a week. The alcohol sales would be limited between 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. The census tract where the subject site is located is not an area of undue concentration. There are currently 0 alcohol licenses within the subject census tract, which does allow for 3 overall, and it is primarily located near residential and commercial. For reference, since the project was brought back, it was noticed again, both to those within 300 foot of the subject site and in our newspaper as well. Planning staff does recommend adopting Resolution 24-6141, approving conditional use permit 2309. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We're now, thank you for the staff report. We're now open the public hearing. The public hearing is now open. The first we'll hear from those in favor and then those opposed. The applicant will speak first, and I believe Sodi is here to speak on behalf of the Yes.
Good evening, Chairman of Commissioner, all commissioners, city staff, and city attorney. And my name is Sodi Shoker. I am the owner of the agenda item 12309. I've been operating and owning that site from 32 some years. And it's like last time, so I've been servicing the community for 33 years, and we comply with all laws. We have no current, violation of the city or any other state agencies. We were never violated any law. So same with this selling beer and wine. We'll operate it with restricted law we have on the hand, and all the restriction that city has already put on the CUP, flock camera, store size, designated beer area, no advertising on the pumps, to have proper employees, proper camera system beside the flock camera, CCTV, then operating within hours that was allowed by ABC, by the city. So we're here, I'm here again to ask to, look into seriously if I can get this approval. And this last time we were here, we were talking about signs, properly sign will be placed. I printed a copy of the signs are required that will be placed. I can hand it to council member, you passed on. John, can I hand it to them? Okay.
You give it to John.
Okay. Can't find this sign. These signs are required by law, and they will be placed on the sizes required by state on the building, outside the building, and some signs are on the cooler door, each door that you have a beer and wine being placed. Area of the beer and wine, if you have open area, then some signs by the register, and also the ID scan sign, and we'll be scanning the ID of age of at 30 or under. Sometimes 35, I think, I forgot what the state requires. You can ask ID up to 35 or even 40 years, so. And we'll be electronically scanning those ID, making sure the age is properly verified for each participant or purchasing the alcohol. So having said all that, so, again, my site, is within compliance for all these years, and we will do everything in our power to, keep our site in compliance. There was some concern about the children being around at school off time. We'll have extra, help, extra employee, watch the floor area while the children are there in the school. Getting out of school, they may come to the store, so we will consider that highly, properly keeping them away from those, if kids wants to look at it, we will prevent all that, So with that, if I'm able to answer, I can answer any question commissioners or chairman might have for me or city staff have it. So
Yeah, does any of the commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Oh, great. Yeah, I saw the example you gave. That was great, and I think you also were saying that you're going to be putting on the refrigerators 21 and over, right?
Yeah, each of the refrigerator door has 2 or 3 of those signs goes on the door, right by the door handle where everybody, or I view at the door. So, and some of them are outside the entrance door. Some of the sign goes, and some signs are required on the building, like no open container, the age requirement, and even some of the consumer, they will help to purchase beer for other. There's a big sign and a fine stated on those signs will go on the building.
Well, great. Thank you so much. And no other questions from the commission? No? Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our first speaker is Mario Zabazaro. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right.
Hi, so members of the West Covina Planning Commission, I stand before you today in support of the conditional use permit for the off-site sale of beer and wine, type 20, within a convenience store at the service station. This proposal, championed by longstanding small business owners in West Covina, holds immense potential for our community. Granting this permit aligns seamlessly with evolving consumer preferences, providing residents with a more comprehensive and convenient shopping experience. Moreover, it acknowledges the contributions of dedicated entrepreneurs who have been integral to our city's fabric for years. The applicant has proven longstanding small business owners bring a wealth of experience and commitment to the table. Their track record not only attests to their business acumen, but also reflects a genuine investment in the prosperity of West Covina. Approving this permit is not just about supporting the retail endeavor, it's about sustaining the local economy by bolstering established entrepreneurs. I urge the Planning Commission to consider the positive impact this permit would have on both the applicant and our community at large. It harmonizes with our city's growth, caters to the evolving needs of residents, and contributes to the economic vitality that makes West Covina thrive. Thank you for your consideration.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll now close the public hearing and open discussion by the commission. I will now open the floor for commission discussion. Any Commissioner Lewis? No. Vice Chair Williams?
Yes, I had a question for the attorney. So am I to understand that any one of the planning commissioners, after a public hearing item has been considered in a public hearing and a decision rendered, that any one of us could, say the next day, go in and speak to staff and ask to have an item brought back to the commission and reconsidered?
Any actions that are done by this commission may be at a later time, if desired, reconsidered or rescinded or amended, and that is provided for in the procedure. So as this planning commission has done today, brought forward a motion to reconsider an item that was done before, the process is there to be flexible and to adapt, and for the planning commission to have the freedom to change its mind if desired. So to bring a motion forward and to reconsider, as long as the due process requirements are met and the notices and publications have been met, the requirements have been met. So it is proper for it to proceed today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Commissioner Pissarro?
Yes, so in the last meeting, I believe Jerry from city staff had mentioned that code enforcement and law enforcement are now in communications regarding calls and community problems within businesses and whatnot. So I spoke with Joanne, planning manager, and she assured me that the city does have in place the proper procedures to monitor and have periodic reviews of the businesses that are going to be getting this permit.
Great. Commissioner Heng?
I don't have any comments currently.
Okay, great. Okay, so we'll now close commission discussion and I'll make a motion to approve conditional. I'll make a motion to approve conditional use permit. Let me get the full wording. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve conditional use permit number 23-09, category exemption, for the location located at 1209 South Sunset Avenue. Request for a conditional use permit CUP to allow for the off-site sale of beer and wine at Type 20 within an existing 2,482 square foot convenience store at a service station known as Chevron Extra Mile, located within the neighborhood commercial zone. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Great. We have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Hang. Joanne, can you do roll call? And can you first verify the motion and do roll call?
Okay, the motion is to approve. Motion made by Commissioner Gutierrez, second by Commissioner Hang. A resolution number 24-6141, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of West Covina, California, approving conditional use permit number 23-09. Commissioner Lewis?
Absolutely aye.
Vice Chair Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Hang?
Aye.
Commissioner Becerra?
Aye.
Chair Gutierrez?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
And so this action is final unless appealed to the City Council within 10 days. The appeal must be submitted in writing to the City Clerk's office within 10 days. And again, this is great. It creates a taxation. It creates revenue that helps fund our police and fire departments, ensuring that our local residents have access to its own police department, its own fire department. We're one of the fewest cities left in the San Gabriel Valley that has its own fire and police department, and that's great, and to know that. So, okay, we'll move on to the next item. The next item is the conditional use permit number 23-11, category exemption by applicant Mohsen Karimi for the location located at 246 North Citrus Street in West Covina, California. The request is a conditional use permit CUP to allow for the sale of beer and wine Type 20 within an existing 2,787 square foot convenience store at a service station known as Mobile Mart, located in the regional commercial RC zone. Joanne, who will be doing the staff report?
The staff report will be presented by Miriam Machado.
Great.
Good evening. This is conditional use permit 2311 for the property located at 246 North Citrus Street. The CUP being requested is to allow for the off sale of beer and wine within an existing convenience store at a service station. The overall lot is 0.60 acres. The building itself for the convenience store is 2,787 square feet. The property is zoned regional commercial, and it's located on the corner of East Workman Avenue and North Citrus Street, and it is surrounded by commercial uses. And this is a photo of the existing convenience store, Mobile Mart. This red box here highlights the convenience store in comparison to the overall lot. Here we have the floor plan. There will be 4 reach-in coolers that would be accessible to the public for the sale of beer and wine. The second rectangle towards the back is a storage area that would be for employees only. Here is the cooler display for reference of where those 4 coolers would be located. The overall operation is a service station with an accessory convenience store and an accessory car wash. They have 12 employees total. They have different shifts. 5 employees work 7:30 to 6:30, and there's 2 employees on site during 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. And the overall business hours are 24/7. But alcohol sales would be limited between 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. as required by ABC. The census tract the property is located at is located in an area of undue concentration. There are currently 5 off-sale alcohol licenses issued within the subject census tract, which currently allows for 3. The 5 that are currently issued belong to Bevmo, Walmart, Target, Sprouts, and Jug and Jigger. The Department of ABC can issue an alcohol license if public convenience or necessity is determined by the local governing body. The proposed use is within the regional commercial zone, which is allocated to provide services to nearby residential areas. Our general plan does encourage diversity uses within this zone, including uses such as grocery stores, markets, specialty stores, restaurants, and gasoline stations, as long as it provides adequate physical and safety measures to prevent any negative impacts on adjacent properties. Planning staff does recommend adopting Resolution 24-6144, approving conditional use permit 2311. I do have the applicant here and his representative here if you have any questions for them, and I'm available for questions as well. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I'll go ahead and thank you for the report. We'll now call up the applicant, Mohesan Karim.
Hello, Commissioner. Good evening. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Mohsen Karimi. I've been serving. Oh, okay. Is already alert?
Everybody.
Hello, Commissioner. My name is Mohsen Karimi. I've been serving City of West Covina since 1980. I started from when the service station was all mechanic. Now I changed it to convenience store and car wash. And thank you all guys for putting effort. We're always here to help our customer. The main reason we're doing that because of customer convenience. And we just want to thank you all and introduce myself. We always obey the rules. We go with the whatever the city's requirement is, and we don't have no negative activity in our side. Always with a good faith and try to help the people and consumer. Thank you all. If you guys have any
Great,
questions.
thank you. Yeah, does the commission have any questions for the applicant? No, great. I have one question. Are you willing to do the same thing as the other applicant, which is put the signage on the refrigerator that says 21 and
Just
over?
whatever the law requires, we go for it. We always obey
Okay,
the law.
great.
After that, all the sign is going to be whatever the ABC going to require. We're going to prefer that.
Yeah, just a simple sticker that says 21 and over. Yeah, great.
It's like a cigarette. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Okay. Okay. We're now open the public hearing. The first we'll hear for those in favor and then those opposed. The applicant has already spoken, and so our first speaker is Ken King.
Hello, Commission. My name is Ken King. I'd like to thank the Commission for this hearing and the staff for their support and assistance they gave us throughout the whole process. I really do appreciate that. We're the representative for the entitlement, MK Design for Mr. Karimi. And if you have any questions, I am here to answer any technical or any questions you guys have. But also, I'm also a resident of West Covina, and I live actually about mile to mile and a half from the site. And before he even was my client, I've been using those services for 20 years over there. I got to know the owner. His former partner, which I really liked a lot, was his cousin who passed away. But I know the way they ran their business and how they take care of and how they serve the community. So I'm here to also give them support for it. Even my house, I won't buy that product, but I use that station a lot. It's very clean. They have multiple staff members, and it's very professional. So I'm in favor of it. So if you have any questions, just please let me know.
Okay, our next speaker is Mario Sabazaro. Tell us the correct way to say it.
You just Alvaro, and then just put soap in front of it to go. Make it simple. As stated for item 3, I so state for item 4.
Thank you. Okay. Since there's no more speaker cards in favor or opposed, we'll now close the public hearing and open discussion by the commission. I will now open commission discussion and call on each member of the commission for comments. Then share your thoughts. Commissioner Lewis.
I just had a question for staff based upon the fact that this this location would be in an area of undue concentration for off-site alcohol licenses. So long as our city gives approval of this, will there be any issues in obtaining an ABC license for the applicant?
No. ABC would ask the city to provide a letter of public convenience and necessity, and we will, if the Planning Commission approves the item tonight, then staff will provide ABC a letter of public convenience and necessity.
Understood. Thank you.
Vice Chair Williams.
I have no comment.
Okay. Commissioner Becerra.
No questions.
Commissioner Hang.
No questions.
Okay, great. Okay, we're now closed commission discussion, and is there a motion or a second? If not, I'll make a motion to approve conditional use permit number 23-11 with category exemption for the location located at 246 North Citrus Street. A conditional use permit CUP to allow for the sale of beer and wine at type 20 within the existing 2,787 square foot convenience store at a service station known as Mobile Mart, located in the regional commercial zone. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. We have a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Lewis. Joanne, can you verify the motion and do roll call?
The motion is to approve the conditional use permit. The resolution number is resolution number 24-6144, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of West Covina, California, approving conditional use permit number 23-11. Commissioner Lewis.
Aye.
Commissioner Hang.
Aye.
Vice Chair Williams.
No.
Commissioner Becerra.
Aye.
Chair Gutierrez.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1.
Great. This action is final unless appealed to the City Council within 10 days. The appeal must be in writing and submitted to the City Clerk's office within 10 days. And again, thank you for your continued business and service to our community. It's great to know that our city could collect tax in the process and make sure and help fund our police and fire department. And another great thing about this project, it's going to allow for flock cameras to be installed in an area that sees a lot of sometimes crimes, robberies, or small theft within Target and the shopping centers there. So you're going to play a big role in protecting our city. So thank you. Okay, we'll now move on. Okay, we'll now move on to a zone change, number 23-02, the general exemption for citywide. The proposed zone change is needed in order to maintain the consistency within the City Council's recent approval of the Development Code update. The zone change will eliminate the mixed-use overlay and change all properties currently zoned office, professional, regional, commercial, neighborhood commercial, and service commercial to be zoned office, professional, mixed use, OPMU. The regional commercial mixed use, RMU, the neighborhood commercial mixed use, NMU, and service commercial mixed use, SMU. In addition, several other properties are being rezoned to an equivalent zoning designation due to Development Code's elimination of the planned industrial P, public building PB, medium commercial C2, and heavy commercial C3 zones, and either be made consistent to its current use and or general plan destination. Who will be presenting the staff report, Joanne?
I'll be presenting the staff report.
Great.
Okay, I'll go ahead and begin. The Planning Commission initially reviewed the zoning map related to the zone change on November 1st, 2023, and recommended approval with the development code update. However, on January 16th, 2024, the City Council approved the development code update. During the City Council meeting, the City Council was informed that the updates of the zoning map would be brought back to the Planning Commission and presented to the City Council at a later date. The proposed zone change is being reintroduced to the Planning Commission in order to provide a more detailed resolution. Because when it was initially scheduled for the City Council meeting, the city attorneys felt that the resolution that the Planning Commission passed was not detailed enough. So this item will remedy that situation.
Great, thank you. You're not done? Go ahead.
The zone change entails several items. The first item is the existing medium commercial C2 and heavy commercial C3 will be eliminated and changed and all properties with that current zoning will be changed to either neighborhood mixed use or service mixed use, depending on the use. Our city consultants and city staff had made sure that the allowed use within these particular commercial zones is exactly what's going to be allowed within the new zoning. Another item is eliminating the public building and planned industrial zone, and that will be changed to either neighborhood mixed use or open space. I'll go ahead and go over each of those properties later on during the presentation. And overall, the city will be eliminating the mixed use overlay zone and changing those particular zones to its base zoning plus mixed use. So neighborhood commercial would be neighborhood mixed use, service commercial would be service mixed use, regional commercial would be regional mixed use. And office professional, the city's office professional area is currently not in the mixed use overlay zone, so that would be incorporated within, would allow for mixed use, which would be office professional mixed use. These are the properties where the IP, planned industrial, and public building zones will be changed. The first three properties were mentioned at the last November 1st Planning Commission meeting, which was the Northwest College properties. They are going to be changed into zoning that's going to be consistent with the portion of Northwest College across the street from it, which is neighborhood mixed use. And staff did contact Northwest College to make sure whether or not they were okay with that. And they were okay with it, mainly given that their current zoning would not allow for the college or for them to make any changes to the existing use, since it is legal nonconforming. Another change would be fire station number 3. It's currently zoned public building. It'll be changed to open space, which is consistent to the zoning for the other station, fire station number 2. Fire station 1, I believe, is in the downtown plan code, so that's a different zone. And also the other fire stations are in PCD 1, so that is not going to be impacted. It's just that fire station number 3 is currently some public building, which its zoning will be eliminated and changed to open space. And Valley there's a landscaping strip along Valley and Morganfield, and it's pictured on the projector. It separates the single-family residential zone from the busy street of Valley Boulevard, and it serves as a landscaping buffer. It's currently zoned public building, so it's going to be zoned as open space since it is currently open space. And another part of it is there are a few properties within the city that are currently split zoned, and this zone change will remedy that situation. For example, the Honda dealership is a portion of it is zoned neighborhood commercial. So it's the triangular sliver, and while the rest of the zone is service commercial. Since service commercial would now be service mixed use as part of the zone change, the neighborhood commercial will be incorporated with the service mixed use so that it's consistent with the rest of the property. And similar split zone situation is encountered on a multifamily residential apartment complex on 1015 West Garvey Avenue. A portion of the parking lot of the multifamily apartment complex is zoned neighborhood commercial, and it's currently split on neighborhood commercial and multifamily 20, so the whole entire site is going to be multifamily 20 as part of this zoning code change. In another situation with 820 North Phillips, a portion of the property is zoned office professional and a portion of it is multifamily 20, and the proposed zoning would be multifamily 20 so that it's consistent with the larger piece of the property, and the current use is allowed in the multifamily zone. Similar thing with 527 South Belinda Avenue, which is a skilled nursing facility. A portion of the property is zoned office professional. It'll be also mixed multifamily 20. Here is the overall zoning map. So as I mentioned earlier, all the commercial zones mix office professional, neighborhood commercial, regional commercial, service commercial would be their base zoning plus mixed use. So office, professional mixed use, neighborhood mixed use, regional mixed use, and service mixed use. The auto plaza overlay zone and animal keeping overlay zone, the downtown plan in code area, and the hillside overlay zones will not change. Those are the only zoning designations in addition to the items and the other list of properties that are attached to a resolution are going to be changed. With this, planning staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 24-6146, recommending the City Council adopt zone change number 23-02. If the Planning Commission has any questions, I'm available to answer.
Yeah, I have a question. What did the LP and the NMU mean again for the community college?
IP, planned industrial, and then NMU is neighborhood mixed use.
Okay, that wasn't a thing that was on there before, right? About the.
It was on there.
Remember that it was something on there that we left. It was left alone after all. Are the community colleges there, or was that a different community college?
It's the same community college.
Oh, okay. Okay, wasn't it designated as a school zone or something?
It was a portion of it that's across the street from it. It included these 3 properties plus 1 additional property.
What was it designated as?
It was neighborhood neighborhood commercial, and then it's going to be neighborhood mixed use.
Okay, great. Okay, Commissioner, open it up.
Chair, if I may, I also like to add that one of the items on the list is on, it's an apartment complex on Sunset. Although it's on the list, staff wishes to eliminate that property from the zone change, mainly because the zone is already correct. Initially, our consultant had thought that that particular property is split zoned, but I looked into all our records and noticed that it was a cartographical error when the digital map was, information for the digital map was getting transferred. So that staff wishes to eliminate that from the resolution.
Great. Does any of the commissioners have questions for staff? Okay.
Actually, I do have one, Joanne. For the C2 and C3 zoning, what's the difference between those two, the C2, C3 zoning versus SMU, which we're changing to?
The C2 and C3 zoning, or C2 is medium commercial and C3 is heavy commercial. The C2 and C3 zoning is largely similar to the service mixed use and also the regional mixed use zones in allowable uses. It allows for a more intensive commercial use in comparison to a neighborhood mixed use. The list of uses in the land use matrix is similar to C2 and C3 for the service commercial and service mixed use and regional mixed use zones. So that what we did is we looked at the uses for each of the site and the surrounding uses for each of the sites, and we matched them with the surrounding uses. That's how we determined which zones that they will be in.
I'm just curious because if we're changing the zoning code, does that mean, I guess there are certain businesses in that area no longer can be done over there for the C2 and C3 zoning?
Most of the uses that are allowed in the C3 and C2 and C3 zones are also allowed in the service mixed use zones.
I guess most is not all, and I'm concerned because these land actually have owners, and do we notify them when we change codes like that?
Yes, and we also
take the uses away from them.
Yes, and we also made sure that the existing uses on the site is allowed is going to be allowed in the new zoning.
Basically, they can continue the use until someone else comes along and they can't do a certain items for the C2 and C3.
No, so they can continue their use and make additions to their use because those uses are allowed in the service mixed use zones. So the C2 and C3 zones are almost identical to the service mixed use zones.
Okay, so almost identical is not exactly identical, but it covers.
I think it combines both. Instead of having two separate things, it combines it into the meaning of both into one.
Is that what we're doing? Is that the C2 and C3 zoning would become SMU and also, what's the other one? NMU?
Yes, service mixed use or neighborhood mixed use.
Joanne, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So by changing any of these use designations, are we turning any parcel into a non-conforming use?
No.
Okay.
And if I may, I'd also clarify that currently the development code update is already scheduled for a second reading for the February 20th city council meeting. So if the city council approves the development code update during the second reading, the code would no longer have the medium commercial C2 and heavy commercial C3 zones, and also the public building and planned institutional zones. So this would be formalizing that in the zoning map.
So I have a bad hypothetical for you. If for whatever reason this didn't pass, is there some sort of savings clause language in the development code that allows for C2 and C3 and other previous zone designations to be governed presumptively under the presumptively new designations, or is this something where there's basically a giant black hole?
There isn't anything in the code, in the development code, that would redesignate development standards for C2, C3, public building, and planned institutional zones.
So effectively, if this doesn't move over to council, then all of the prior outdated zoning designations would not have any applicable standards to them, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Great. Any more questions?
I guess like if we were to move down to category 4, these are parcel lots, and basically we're changing from residential R1 to OS, which is open space, I believe. No, I'm just trying to picture, because that seems to be, I'm not even sure if those land or strips of land can even be built.
Those are properties owned by the city. The last 3 digits are 900 codes. They're properties that are owned by the city. That's basically open space currently in their landscaping.
What are parks designated? Is parks considered open space too?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you look at it, technically, a public building can always be shut down, like they did a lot of the courts throughout LA County at one point. But open space, I personally believe, is a more protective wording in there, because for you to get rid of an open space, such as just an example, like a public park, which is considered an open space as well, that's a more stronger term, I believe, to use, and obviously to protect a future firehouse from going from a firehouse that's currently there. And maybe the city attorney could elaborate a little bit on open space in general. Isn't open spaces more, when the cities make decisions on rezoning open spaces or even like closing down a park, which it's hardly done, isn't that a more, I guess how you say, touchy subject in its making, right?
Is prioritizing preserving that space rather than building for, I mean, it's arguable that it's just as important. So it's just a different use of that and protecting that use versus certain parcels are meant to be developed a little bit more intensively. And this is designated as open space to be left in as much of an open condition as possible. So that's the interest that is being protected. So there are different interests that are protected by these categories.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Any more questions by the commission?
No, I'm just happy we didn't have to get a lesson on the Surplus Land Act. I'm going to motion to adopt resolution number 24-6146, recommending the City Council approve zone change number 23-02 and adopt an ordinance for the required rezoning associated with the Development Code update.
I think I just need to open the public hearing and close the public hearing real fast. So
there's a public hearing.
Yeah, that's the one here, but
I missed that.
No, it's okay. So before we go to that motion, I'm going to open the public hearing. And since there's no speaker cards regarding the subject matter, we're going to now close the public hearing and open discussion by the commission. And then since there is a motion, if Commissioner Lewis wants to repeat his motion.
I will repeat my motion. Motion to adopt, hold on one second. Motion to adopt resolution number 24-6146, resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of West Covina recommending the City Council approve zone change number 23-02 and adopt an ordinance for the required rezoning associated with the Development Code update.
I would second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lewis and a second by Vice Chair Williams. Joanne, can you clarify the motion and do roll call?
The motion is for City Council recommendation, resolution number 24-6146, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of West Covina, California, recommending the City Council approve zone change number 23-02 and adopt an ordinance for the required rezoning associated with the Development Code update. Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Vice Chair Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Hang?
Aye.
Commissioner Becerra?
Aye.
Chair Gutierrez?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great. This is the final action on this matter and will take place at a public hearing. Okay. This is a final action. This is the final action on this matter and will take place at a public hearing before the City Council on a date to be determined. We'll now move on to non-hearing items, art in public places, number 24-01 for the locations located at 1611 through 1623 West San Bernardino Road in West Covina, California. Tonight we have one non-hearing item. Joanne, who will be presenting the staff report?
I will be presenting the staff report for this item. Okay. On January 28th, 2020, the Planning Commission approved precise plan number 1902, which approved for 105,645 square foot, 24-unit, two-story industrial condominium development on the subject property. The site is zoned M1. The valuation of the project is $11,927,000, and based on that, in the development, the required arts and public places contribution, or it would be valued at 1% of the valuation. The applicant is proposing to locate the artwork in front of Building 1, which is the area that's circled. The photograph of the building in the front of the site is on the projector, and the proposal would be to locate a bronze sculpture right in front of this building and within the existing landscaped area on the property. Here's a depiction of the bronze sculpture. According to the applicant's budget, the installation, the design, installation, and the bronze sculpture itself would be valued at $119,270, which is equal to the 1% of the project valuation. The bronze sculpture will depict a family comprising of parents and school-age children walking happily, holding hands for safety. One child is carrying a book and another child is carrying a book bag. According to the applicant, the design was selected mainly because of the site's location across the street from Manzanita Elementary School, and the site being to the west of an apartment complex in residential properties where school age children that attend Manzanita Elementary School live. So they are constantly walking in front of the subject property. The applicant is here. If the Planning Commission has any questions, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the concept or design of the bronze sculpture. The applicant is Mr. Don Cook.
Great, thank you. Does any of the commissioners have questions for city staff? Seeing none, we'll now call the applicant, Mr. Cook.
My name's Don Cook. First, I'd like to thank Joanne and Jerry for all their help. They've been very patient in taking me through this process. We have a building right next to this building. It looks very similar. In that building, we did basically a 20 by 20 tile picture of actually the way the mountains look today, snow-covered mountains and some orange trees. And we also had a fountain until Azusa Water said no more fountains and no more water. And then some homeless people took over the fountain, tore everything out. And so we thought this time we'd try something different. And after Joanne told us what we needed to do, we needed some art. We went back, and this is going to sound really corny, but we saw kids and families walking across the street, hand in hand, to school. And we said, you know what? Why don't we do something that shows the kids across the street walking to school? So as Joanne pointed out, and you should have in your folder, the two boys, one boy has a backpack, one boy has his books under his arm. The girls aren't carrying any books because they did their homework the day before and didn't have to take anything home. But the boys, they didn't, and so they had to have their school books. The other thing that we saw a lot is with these families that are walking to school, quite often there's one of the children that isn't walking. They're in a stroller or the parents are carrying them because they're younger. And so what we were trying to do in our first one was connect with the mountains and the history of the city with its oranges. Okay, this time we're trying to connect with the children that are across the street. One of the big advantages of bronze is it is maintenance free. Once this thing is done, it's done. It doesn't rust. It doesn't do any of the things. There's no maintenance requirement. However, there is an association which would be responsible for the artwork into perpetuity. So it doesn't just go there and end. It's not nearly as technical as a lot of the things you've done tonight. It's kind of how do you feel? But we're really excited about it. And you know, the fact that there's another family business in New York which is going to, do up the molds and pour the bronze and bring it out here, and we're going to put it together. And the truth is, this process to make these statues is going to take 4 to 5 months. It's not something that just, you can go off the shelf and say, yeah, I want one of those and I want one of those. This is going to be custom made for this site, for this art in this city. Subject to your question, that's all I've got to say. You guys are going to have an early night tonight. I will tell you, This will be my last time I ever appear before the West Covina Planning Commission. No illness intended. I've been doing it since 2005 from time to time. And, the project next door, this one, I think the last time my son did it. Now he's in Florida. Doing it. Same thing, but he's in Florida. Subject to a question, that's all I got.
Yeah, it's a beautiful art that you have, and I know the McIntyre Square has some of those.
Andy helped me.
Yeah, great.
Andy gave me the name of these people. Like I said, as Jerry and I talked today, what's interesting about this is an industrial project. It's warehouses, it's in that. But what the staff has done and what the city code has done is they've taken something that is industrial and warehouse, okay? And I jokingly say this as I'm planting them, but we have thousands of plants here. It's almost like an arboretum, okay? And now we're going to have this art out front. So the buildings are cool, they're nice, and they have all these ancillary things that are there. And it almost like the warehouses disappear. Mm-hmm. And when you go down the street, you see the arch, you see the landscaping and the trees. And it's like, gee, I wonder what that was. So thank you.
It's beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Does any of the commissioners have any questions? If not, then I will make a motion to approve the proposed Art in Public Places number 24-01 for the buildings located at 1611 through 1623 West San Bernardino Road in West Covina, California. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by myself and a second by Commissioner Becerra. Joanne, can you verify the motion and do roll call?
The motion is to approve the concept of the bronze sculpture. Commissioner Lewis?
Aye.
Vice Chair Williams?
Aye.
Commissioner Hang?
Aye.
Commissioner Becerra?
Aye.
Chair Gutierrez?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to commissioner reports and comments or miscellaneous items. Would any of the commissioners like to report or comment on an item? If not, we'll move on to I think we're gonna. Was that item going to still be? I think we're going to discuss in general the last requests at the last meeting. You recall that
we had a full agenda for this meeting.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
so.
today,
So it's not going to be it. We didn't agendize it for this meeting.
Okay.
But we are going to be agendizing it for the first meeting in March.
Okay, great. Sounds great. Okay, we'll move on to the Community Development Director's report. Joanne, do you have any items to report?
On Saturday, March 9th, the city will have the Spring Festival. It will be held from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Sunday, March 10th, from 12 p.m. until 8 p.m. at Old Town Glendora Avenue. On Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., it's going to be our Easter egg extravaganza at Cortez Park. The address at Cortez Park is 2441 East Cortez Avenue, and they will also have it at Del Norte Park, which is 1500 West Roland Avenue. RSVP is not going to be required for either of those events.
Great. And is there any city council actions to report on behalf of Paulina?
Not at this time. The past city council actions have been reported at the last meeting.
Okay, since there's no further business to consider, this meeting is adjourned at 8:13 p.m. Pacific time.